Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today I talk about why GTX 960 lost its worth after the release of GTX 950. GTX 960 was a great card for 1080p gaming until the release of AMD's 300 series and GTX 950. The performance of GTX 950 is really impressive for a card under $200. Also, it performs quite close to the GTX 960. I'll leave a link in the description so you guys could take a look at how close both the cards perform. On the other hand, AMD's R9 380, which is similarly priced to GTX 960 4GB edition, performs better than the GTX 960 in most of the games. Also, in more demanding games where more VRAM is used like GTA 5 and Witcher 3, the R9 380 is the better card. If you saw my video during the release of GTX 960, you will see that at the end of the video I clearly said that I expected a bit more out of it. I don't know if Nvidia held down the performance of GTX 960 to have a better sale of the GTX 970, because if the GTX 960 performed better than it did, then it would be the best price performance ratio card, not the GTX 970. I think GTX 960 should have performed much better, because after the release of GTX 950, which performs quite close to the GTX 960, is a better card to buy comparing price performance ratio. I don't think spending the extra bucks on GTX 960 is worth it for a slightly better performance. Also, overclocked GTX 950 is 90% of GTX 960. Also, GTX 960 will lose its position even more after the release of GTX 950 Ti, because the GTX 950 Ti will perform even better than the GTX 950. So you have the R9 380 performing better if you are considering the 4GB edition of the GTX 960. Also, if you are considering the 2GB edition, then you have the GTX 950, which performs quite close to the GTX 960 for $150. I know I'll get a lot of hate for this video, but I shared my own honest opinions and I don't think the GTX 960 is worth it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Also, drop a like if you like the video and subscribe for more videos like this. I am AppsTechie and see you later.